podcast. What do they call a fuck you chicken sandwich with cheese in France?
I don't know, Joe. What do they call a fuck you chicken sandwich with cheese in France?
Nothing. Robinson hates Canadians and won't let him have his franchise.
As well as the two guys who record N-Word Bound.
I'm sorry. Say it's a rap one more time, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's great and all, but I'm hungry. Hey, buddy, what you gotta eat right there?
It's a wrap.
Comes A. Kyle did it all.
So blame it on him if it sucks. Love Rob production.
But as everyone knows, where the Spooner Street crew goes, mischief will follow.
Hey, Quagmire, this is some good coffee.
You think I don't know that? When my wife goes store, she gets shit stuff. When I go, I get good stuff. I don't need you to lube me up like the butthole of a 16-year-old girl. But let me ask you a question. When you drove in here, did you notice a sign in my yard that said Dead Chucky Storage?
Family Dork, coming to a theater near you, summer 2016.
There are times when I really stop and I wonder. I think to myself, what am I doing with my life? And it would appear that episode 35 is one of those times.
I'm here to keep your life in check,
podcast.
Rob. That's why you keep me around, to keep your life in check.
Oh man, I just, words are not working for me at the moment. It might be because my brain is partly liquefied at this point.
Partly, you're doing better than the test group, by the way.
You didn't have to edit that, Rob. I mean, come on.
Oh, thank goodness. thank goodness. Yeah.
That was like a whole minute and a half longer before it got cut down.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Like I said, one of the test subjects is still coma, so you're doing pretty well if you're only half liquefied.
There was like a whole Christopher Walken thing. I mean, it went on for like a minute.
Really? So how long did that one go on for?
That was like 45 seconds?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what.
You want me? I can play the original cut if you want.
No, but
it's like 2 minutes.
I'm thinking though, if I'm ever in a position where I've only got X amount of time to live, I definitely want that tape because that will make it seem like so much longer.
It was an interesting concept. I told Kyle and I was like, I think it was just one reference too much because it's Family Guy, Pulp Fiction, and Dorkgasm. So it's like, it's a lot of stuff. I don't know.
It's a lot of something. That is absolutely correct.
There's a great idea in there somewhere. We tried to pull it out.
If you say, yeah, yep, tried, and I mean, I don't want to say failed, but
well, Rob, you are the expert of trying to pull out and failing, so.
Well, he does have a child, so.
Yes, I do. Yeah, that was just carelessness on my part. Yes, my child is unwanted. So,
at least now he will have evidence for the therapist in 10 or 15 years.
That's right.
I swear that's not me typing.
No, it's me. I'm talking to our guest.
We
should be ready.
Is it Justin?
No, Justin. Justin is on slightly more than you. He's like a what do you call a regular guest, right?
Yes, not like the series regular, but
he's kind of like the Greg Proops of Whose Line.
Yeah, he's got like a 6 or 8 episode contract, kind of. Not the full 22, but he'll be on a few episodes.
That's right. Yep. Bunch of contract discussions and.
Plus, he's on so rare we can get away with the same "a wild Justin has appeared" joke, and no one notices because it only happens once every couple months.
That's right.
And because nobody listens.
That too.
No. No one listens.
Well, actually, I do have proof. Our fan base has doubled. We actually have 2 listeners now. Another one of my
Get the
friends has
fuck
told me
out of here.
Another one of my friends has told me they listen to us while they mow the lawn.
Wait, you've got 2 friends.
I mean, that's
That
more
are not-
mind-boggling
it's
than
not
2
me,
people. Yeah.
Wait, I'm supposed to consider you a friend, Rob?
Yeah, well, that's the size
Well,
of your life.
Somebody holds themselves highly.
Hold myself all the time.
It's good somebody
This is a
does.
family show, Rob. Come on. It's not really.
Yes. Holding yourself is not how you get a family.
And it depends on where you finish, I guess. Yeah, are we going to do introductions real quick?
Yeah, I was actually realizing that I was neglecting my hostly duties.
Well,
And,
that intro did liquefy your brain, so I will forgive you.
I'm just, oh my. Gobsmacked is the word. It's a good word, and that's what it is.
Is it a real word?
Yeah, it is. If you know anybody from the UK, they can probably verify that.
There's also candy.
Well, there's the
That's Gobstopper, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Where is we? We heard Crispy,
Hello!
and then unfortunately we heard a whole lot of Kyle.
Howdy.
Yeah, that had to have been Kyle doing that entire intro.
Yep, and hold on. Call Skype. Let's try it.
No, this is
Eh.
terrifying.
And Jesse, you there?
Hello.
Hello, and I'll go ahead and introduce Jesse, who is a fellow YouTuber I met recently, and he has his YouTube channel is UndeadDomain on YouTube.
Where's he from?
From are you New York State, right?
Yep, New York State. I'm actually from
Haha.
the city itself.
The city itself.
Damn it, Crispy. You were supposed to say the UK so we could verify my Gobsmack reference.
Nope. Nope. So Jesse, you're on with Rob and
Hi,
Kyle.
Rob.
Hello.
And Kyle,
Howdy.
but you don't have to say anything to him if you don't want to. It's fine. No one ever does. And we're live. So
Oh, okay.
you're our first guest out of 35 podcasts.
Oh, okay,
135.
Well, Rob likes to say 135. It feels like 135. No,
Uh,
just
That's supposed
35.
to be like a season 1 and then 35 episodes in.
I just have a really hard time counting.
It helps that his brain is jello right now.
Yeah, you missed our wonderful intro that we played live, and we won't subject you to that. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
So it
okay.
was. You'll hear it on the replay. Don't worry when I post it.
That's fine. That's fine.
So, how you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, I've been having, working on stuff, taking care of channel business. I've been pretty busy myself and trying to catch up on everything.
Yeah. You so like I said, your YouTube channel's UndeadDomain, and
Yep.
what games do you play on your channel?
I like to focus mostly on Minecraft games, but overall, I like to focus on just games that have like a sense of discovery or a sense of adventure. I kind of like that whole randomly generated kind of structure. You know what I mean?
Are you a completionist in that you like to do collectibles in games, that kind of do everything?
No. I'm more of like, it's not so much to do everything, it's to have the option to do whatever I want. That's what's important.
Sandbox style.
Yeah, sandbox style.
Yeah, if you check out his channel, you can definitely tell that's a major theme, because you've got the Journey to Adventure going on right now, which I enjoy a lot. There's something with the wizard something mage, right? What is it?
Oh, but it's actually one of my personal favorite series. It's Rise of the Technomancer.
The Technomancer. I love that.
Yes.
Technomancer.
Yeah,
So it's another
it took me a while to
mind.
come up with that. I was sitting there thinking I wanted to have a name that would mean magic and technology. So it just kind of came into Technomancer.
And that's
And I
another.
found out that they were making an actual movie based on something called Technomancer.
That's a cool name. Let's see, and then you also have there's a. Was it not? You don't do Banished right now, right?
No, I don't do Banish. I actually
Banished.
the stuff I'm currently have on regular on the
Savage
channel-
Lands. Yeah.
Savage Lands. That's one of the ones I'm working on. I haven't done anything recently with it. I just keep on putting episodes up. But from what I've played, it's a really good game. I can't wait to see it be more fleshed out.
Is that what game's that banished?
Oh no, you're talking about Savage Land. Savage Land is actually it's a game that's it's a bit like The Forest, except for it's on survival of medieval style. You know, so you're dealing more with fantasy and dark fantasy. It kind of has a lot of like gritty realism, but then there's dragons and skeleton bone creatures and a bunch of other cool stuff like that.
And then also Salt too, which is an alpha. It's an early access. Yeah, it's like kind of a pirate open world.
Yeah, open world, pirate, open seas. It's all about finding treasure and fighting pirates, and doing some quests for innkeepers and little things like that. I just recently came across in the game a boat that I can actually repair. It's a full pirate ship, and I cannot wait to repair it so I can get out on instead of being on the little tiny raft that I'm currently using. Awesome.
Rob, you had a question?
Yeah, no, I was going to say I've seen some of that on Paul Soares Jr.'s channel. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the podcast. We at Dorkgasm we kind of talk about movies and TV and anything. We're all about embracing your inner dork. That's basically what it is.
That's definitely what I'm all about.
Well, but not while we're on the podcast, because nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah. Rob embraces himself off camera, off mic, because he has a child. Yes,
we were just discussing how much he likes to hold himself. So,
yes,
okay.
Both his own inner dork. Yeah, and it immediately went down into adolescent humor, which you found out. So, So, what would you say? I guess. How would you? What do you think makes you a dork? Like what excites you as a dork? Like what gives you a dorkgasm, as we would say, other than open world exploration games?
Oh yeah, well that's just we're talking games. Because the thing is, to me, like just the essence of being a dork is just being into the inner, like the side culture that not too many people are really into. We're not talking like hipster geeks and anything like that. Like I'm talking about the nitty gritty, like being into the comic books, Comic-Con, going to conventions, going to like there's New York Comic-Con, something I'm going to this year myself, and I've gone for 3 years before that, though I missed the last 2. But it's kind of like just being in the know, it's being into, like, one of my favorite series is The Walking Dead. When the TV series first got announced, I was at the Comic-Con where they first did the panel with the crew, and where they did questionnaires for like Robert Kirkman and stuff like that, and like that kind of stuff really got me like totally into it. Like I was like so hyped about it. It was crazy.
Awesome.
When they first showed the very first clip of the show that we got to see before anybody else did, it was just like, oh my god, this is so sweet.
You sir are in the right company, because that is what we are all about too, I think.
It's not like being, wearing glasses and, I play some light video games that makes me cool. It's much deeper than that.
So when did you start? When did you say you started playing video games?
2 or 3 years old.
Wow. Okay. It's like 4 or 5.
My entire life has been nothing but video games. One of the things, like right now, I'm currently 26 years old. I'll actually be 27 next week. And
happy birthday early.
When I was younger, like my parents, I benefited from, since my parents were always behind on the times a little bit, I benefited from my very first console being an Atari 2600. I went through the ColecoVision, the Intellivision, I went through the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo. Like I went through all of those in a quick succession compared to someone who might have done it before.
A crash course.
Me, I was born into a Nintendo house, so I was spoiled already.
It's like a crash course of consoles, is what it was.
Yeah. I actually still have my 2600 at my parents' house. It's sitting under my old bed.
What games do you have for it?
Ooh,
do you remember?
Like I have the old crappy version of Pac-Man. I've got like the Donkey Kong ripoff. I've got E.T.
Oh, I had E.T.
You ever play? I think it's called Freeway. It was like a Frogger ripoff, but with a chicken trying to cross the road.
I think I actually borrowed that once from one of my friends, but no, I don't have that particular cartridge. But you know what I do have? I had this one cool game called Russian Attack, where it was a cop and robber kind of thing. And it was just like,
I wouldn't have guessed that by the name. I would have thought it's thermonuclear war or something for that time period.
It's not Rush. It's Rush.
I thought it's a Russian attack. Commie bastards. I don't know. Well, I mean, it was the 80s, We're still the Cold War. So I don't know. There, I mean, what was it? You still had what? Custard's Last Stand or whatever that. They were still.
Have that.
Yeah. Jungle Hunt was where it was at. I was a big Jungle Hunt. I love Jungle Hunt. Or Pitfall.
Pitfall.
I think Jungle Hunt was a Pitfall rip-off clone.
I just like the old, like when you go to the arcade and then you saw the 2600 games, like they were just night and day.
Yeah.
But you're still impressed. You were still impressed.
I mean, there's still games that I find impressive, even for like the Sega Genesis and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I was talking about the other day, like Aladdin for Sega Genesis.
Actually,
like the animation. The animation on that is still, I mean, still
Well, you
really
look at the
good.
end of the Super NES, its graphics were amazing. I mean, you look at them now, and you'd never think it was in the same par as some of those games from that day.
Yeah, you got
The art style was incredible. They managed to make a lot of them not look pixelated, so it was fantastic.
Like, I really thought this, like, the Super Nintendo was really the age of, like, the JRPG, where they were really getting into those heavy stories, like Chrono Trigger and the Final Fantasy 2 and 3, Well, 2 and 3 in the U.S. terms.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had just really, Final Fantasy had its niche at the time on the Nintendo, but still, JRPGs still weren't big yet, even until like close to the end of Super Nintendo, and then on to the next generation. That's where it really started to take off. But,
Now, explain one thing to me. Elaborate real quick on the difference between your typical RPG and what makes it a JRPG.
Oh, okay. That's actually an interesting thing. Because the thing is, the way I see it, what makes a JRPG is it's kind of like the overall flavor is this, what do you call it? It's this Japanime kind of thing, you know what I mean? The story's a little angsty or, a little, well, right now they're cliche, but back then they were good, interesting stories.
So it wouldn't necessarily define the gameplay as much as the style.
Yeah, it was more the style, because the thing is, like, I played a number of JRPGs, and like Star Ocean, for example. Star Ocean was a little action heavy, and you were jumping all over the place to attack the opposition. But then you'd play something like Final Fantasy, where it's turn-based. JRPG is more of the flavor. I've seen some really, really interesting stuff more recently on the DS with games like Shin Megami Tensei and stuff like that. Those I found I got impressed with a lot. You know what I mean? But sometimes when I see some of the what was the game? Like the Tales of games, I kind of get like, ugh, I've seen this 20 times.
That's my definition is if it's a Japanese port and I've never heard of it. It's a JRPG. That's how simple mine is. What games are you playing right now for just fun, like outside of your YouTube channel? Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Dying Light recently. I've really gotten into that recently because like I have an Xbox One, but I decided to buy for my PC, and I've been really digging into it.
And Dying Light is the one by the people who made the first Dead Island.
Dead Island. Yep. And I was really impressed with that game. Like right in the beginning, when I'm standing on top of the quote unquote tower, and you just look down, and I have my headphones and my 1080p monitor. It's like it feels like you're standing on the edge of a building, and you can hear the wind in your ear, and it's like, you get vertigo for a second there.
It's a parkour crafting zombie killer. I love it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's very, very cool. I've been into The Witcher 3 lately. I've been I managed to pick up that, and wow, it's pretty immersive.
I never got into the Witcher games. I've been meaning to want to get into them.
Yeah, it's funny. It's one of those things, I guess, where the first two Witcher games are really full of lore and storyline, and it can be very tough for people, kind of like Game of Thrones, the actual reading the books.
Yeah.
Like they throw so much at you at the beginning that a lot of people had trouble kind of jumping over that barrier into getting into the gameplay. But Witcher 3, I think they just get you right into it, and the story is really good. It's pretty funny.
Does it rely heavily on the background stuff, or can you play it from the get-go, like from that point of view?
You are best watching. You can. There's like it's unfunny on YouTube. You can find these little 1-minute primers. Like, so it's like what the lore of Witcher 3 in 1 minute, and then you can, or lore of Witcher in 1 minute, and you can just watch it and you'd be like, okay, I get it. Like, there's different factions, so it can get kind of confusing between the North and the South, and then there's Nilfgaardians and the Skoketel, and the politics. the politics are a little muddy. Like, it's hard to kind of differentiate, but they are in real life too. But there's really only, it comes down to 3 characters you need to worry about, and that's the main character, Geralt, and Yennefer, and Ciri. So there's, and once you get, go ahead.
Sorry. I think the Witcher series will always have a special place in my heart for one simple thing, and that's them having the guts to have an Easter egg where you walk along to the first city in, I believe, Witcher 2, and you find a dead guy in an Assassin's Creed uniform next to a broken pile of hay.
Yeah, they're really good with the Easter eggs and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty funny. The first minute or so of the game, it's like a little cutscene, and they show these feet in a tub. You're like, okay, I know where this is going, and then it pans to the male character in the tub, and then you get the female character who's off to the side or whatever. But
completely dressed, you're saying?
No, she is not.
Right then.
We're like bait and switch now.
They know what they know the audience. They're like, okay, we'll give you this, and then it'll be a long time before you see anything else. But
okay.
Well, if I can ask you, gentlemen, for the Xbox One owners in the room, has anyone played Ori and the Blind Forest yet?
No, not yet. And I've been really meaning to pick it up, but I can rarely get time to like get into some of those side games that I want to jump into, you know?
It looks like it's not going to end up being a particularly long game, but I mean, just the graphics are just stunning.
I love the art style. It looks amazing.
The art, the story. I've heard nothing but good things. I've had about half a dozen recommendations from other YouTubers, and like
all the
you
reviews
have to play
are stellar. I mean, they say the controls are tight. They say it's the type of game where it only gets frustrating because it's done so well that it really is challenging you. It's not broken challenging.
Yeah, so no like cheap deaths or anything like that. Like when you die, you know why you died and how you can fix it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I definitely love those type of games. Like a game that did that for me was like the Dark Souls game, you know? That's one where it's like in the first one at least. I never played the second one yet. But you know, if you messed up, you knew why you messed up.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt in Dark Souls why you messed up, because and someone would leave a note telling you how you messed up usually.
Either that, or they troll you in your own game, making you think they were a shadow when they were really a person.
Or they'd leave you bad notes. That was the funny part too. Yeah.
I love the completely unhelpful notes.
Yeah. Like watch out.
Press the second button on the wall to not die. And then it like shoots fire at you or something.
Trolls.
Do you have a PS4 or an Xbox, or do you mainly play on PC?
I have an Xbox One, and I only recently became a PC gamer. It actually did coincide with the relaunch of my YouTube channel, because I managed to build my own computer for the first time. So once I got into it, like I'm really finding it hard to go back to the Xbox One. When you can start getting some of those awesome graphics on the channel, you know, in your games, you know, compare, like even The Witcher, like even though I run it pretty much on low on everything because it's ridiculously resource heavy, it still looks much better than what I see on some of the consoles and everything. Yeah. Because, like, you know, before I got the PC, I wasn't really much of a graphic person. I was more into, you know, the art style type games. But it's like once I got access to the card that lets me go crazy, like I compare my Dying Light to the Xbox One's Dying Light, and I'm like, oh, those textures look a little muddy.
There is no comparison at that point. You're like, it's just, you're part of the PC master race now.
I know, right? I'm still young.
Awesome.
I'm still young.
Yeah. Well, that it's always nice when you have enough time where you can explore all the options. So,
Yeah.
I've been neglecting my PS4 lately, mostly because of Witcher and the channel stuff. So yeah, have you? Now you mentioned you might. It's your dad's birthday today, so happy birthday to him. But you mentioned you might take him to Avengers. Have you seen it yet?
I saw it myself already, yes. We didn't wind up seeing it today with him because he had a change of plans, but we still had a good time. But in terms of Avengers, I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
I managed to see it last week, I think, or the week before. And what did you think? Did you like it more than the first one, or on par?
I actually think it's slightly less than the first one because the wow factor of the first one really sold it a lot for me, and I feel like even though they did a few things good in this, I still felt like it was overwhelmed with characters, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and then there were a few plots that came in that I'm like, where did this come from? Like the Black Widow Hulk ship it.
On that topic, I actually kind of liked it a little better for certain aspects of that. You watch the first movie and all Black Widow does is fire handguns. You know, it's like any person in the world could do this. At least in this one, you know, they focused more on like her widow bite, even though they don't tell you what the hell's going on. They just have her looking like she's lasering people. But, you know, they actually gave a reason besides being a super sleuth in a skin-tight leather suit why she's there. They took extra effort to kind of explain, like, you know, yeah, we know Hawkeye's just a guy who shoots arrows, but they at least kind of tried to make the human factor there, like why he's there. They tried to elaborate on it, which they may have done a little much of, but I thought still had a good human element to it.
Well, yeah.
And it didn't suffer from first movie syndrome. They were able to start off with a huge battle that was choreographed so awesomely.
I know exactly what you're talking about because like that first scene when they just the camera pans and you see all of them just jumping across. I'm like, that's a comic book shot right there.
The last thing that really did it for me was, you know, the first one, yeah, you had Loki, but the worst superhero movies to me, and by far Avengers was not a bad movie, but it's the one where they don't focus on the supervillains. So yeah, you had Loki, but that's just like generic alien race. This one, they really did make a big threat out of Ultron, and it's a comic book character villain, so it was kind of cool for that.
So here's my issue with Ultron, and you know, I love James Spader, I love The Blacklist, I think he's fantastic, but it's like he wakes up as the AI and then all of a sudden is just James Spader. Like there was no, you know, like there's no transaction like I'm an AI, you know, like there's no, all of a sudden he's just using common vernacular in the English language, like in slang and stuff. I'm like, I know he has access to the internet.
Yeah,
but...
they did try to cover their tracks on that one, but no, I get what you mean.
Yeah, it's just like
a Jarvis program, you know.
Yeah, who's a little
personality.
He's a little tinny, right? He's a little straight-laced, and you know, he's a little rigid because he's artificial intelligence. But I mean, I know Ultron is the ultimate artificial intelligence and can adapt and blah blah blah. But to me, it's like I know James Spader, and he just became James Spader. It's like he was. Go ahead.
It didn't help that they had him tilt his head, like Ultron tilt his head like James Spader does.
That's true too.
Yeah.
He's like, ooh, sorry about that. Oh, like, you know, he's like hurting people and stuff. It's just like all I can think of is like the Blacklist and he's just Reddington.
But no, like I actually did like the Black Widow and Hawkeye stuff. Like when they did the flashback for Black Widow, I thought that was awesome. You know, when they did the Hawkeye speech, you know, where he was just like, I'm sitting here with superpowered individuals. Like when he was just talking to Scarlet Witch, like, listen, let's talk real right now.
I'm going to go outside and die. If you want to come with me, feel free.
Yeah, he's like, you have superpowers. I don't even have superpowers. I got some arrows, you know. What am I going to do? But I'm still going out there.
Parts of the movie.
Right.
Oh, I love it.
You guys have seen it, but actually they did something like that with Dorkly. They put out, you know, cartoons about video games and superheroes and shit. And so they were making fun of the Thor's hammer scene, and Thor's laughing with everyone like, oh, you guys can't lift my hammer. And Iron Man's like, you know, I'm a billionaire philanthropist. I could just be banging hot women all day, but I almost sacrificed my life to nuke an alien race to save the world. So of course I can lift it. And he's like, oh, all right, well maybe you guys can. Captain America's like, dude, I gave up my life to become a super soldier representing my country, giving up all free will and freedom so I could save this world. Oh, okay. Well, Hawkeye can't lift it, and they pan over and Hawkeye's floating. It's like, dude, I can shoot arrows. I run around with superheroes fighting villains that can nuke the world, and I can't do shit. Why do you think I can't lift it?
My favorite part, actually, one of his favorite lines is with Quicksilver or whatever. You know, he calls him old man or whatever, like catch up old man. He's like, just one shot to the back of the head with all the take. I was like, and I'll be like, I don't know what happened. I just got in the way. So
I think the absolute best thing I've seen about that movie was a meme that was Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch like, Dad, there's giant metal robots trying to take over the world. Help! And it flashes to Magneto from Days of Future Past. Sorry, son, copyright.
Well, I don't know if you had heard, they retconned that, Marvel, that they're not mutants, like in the comic books. In the comic books,
Yeah, they're miracles.
They're not in the movie, but yeah, that's nothing exciting. They did that just since they can't use X-Men, but.
Well, but that's like Disney kind of flexing, I think, over Marvel, the actual like comics, like okay, I mean, because really they don't, they only own the TV and movie rights. With
I was
them.
going to say also they probably got away with it since Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were major Avenger characters.
Yeah, I actually saw a claim, I guess you call it like a claim chart. They had all the characters, and they're like, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver fall under both the X-Men and Avengers. So in terms of rights, they did have the right to use them, but mutants was tied to X-Men, so they couldn't use mutants. So
to be fair, it was cool to see the guy from American Horror Story be Quicksilver in Days of Future Past.
Yeah,
that was a cool scene. That was a very cool scene.
That was an awesome thing. He's supposed to come back in the next one, right?
Apocalypse. Age of Apocalypse, yeah.
Age of Apocalypse, yes. But yeah, that one I can't wait for. That I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping they ended on a really high note. I wonder if they're gonna try a reboot or something.
much better note than X-Men 3, hopefully.
Oh yeah. Oh god. We don't talk about that.
I'm good with that.
You hope their Last Stand is better than The Last Stand? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, no doubt about that. I actually had read an interesting article. I guess, like Marvel Television, there's like a rivalry between the Marvel TV production and the movie production. Like, you'd think based on how well they kind of mesh the movies with like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff, they actually had a real tough time doing that, and the TV was kind of blindsided by the whole Winter Soldier, so they kind of had to rewrite. Yeah, they had to rewrite that on the fly, which is amazing because that probably was the best thing that happened to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because
when I watched that, I was just like, "Holy hell, that just came out of left field."
Yeah. So but I guess it's still a point of contention. The production groups don't get along very well, so you're going to see a split. Like there's no
issues with the Inhumans being involved in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I heard that they don't want them in there yet because they want to do it for the movie.
Yeah, well, and just like Ultron, like they're not going to probably do anything with that in the TV shows. They kind of they wrap that whole issue up for the most part. You don't have to worry about that. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. I always thought that the two production companies actually meshed pretty well, but they in fact do not. Nope. I think that's where probably DC does it right, where it's like, okay, here's the movie stuff, here's the TV stuff.
Yeah, but the problem is with DC, the TV stuff's great, the movie stuff sucks.
Well, there is that, but at least it's separate. So like the suckiness of the movies doesn't leak into the suckiness of the TV.
You can't go along with that train of thought because they actually had an issue recently with Suicide Squad and Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They actually had an issue with Arrow trying to use Harley. They were supposed to do a whole arc with Harley Quinn and Arrow, and they had to scrap it because they didn't like that Suicide Squad out was happening at the same time. They didn't want, even though they were supposed to be in separate universes, they still argued about it.
Yeah, it was a sore spot, which I thought was interesting. Although, to be fair, Arrow's taking over everything of Batman. They need to stop it.
Well,
Ra's al Ghul, Harley Quinn.
Arrow is the best Batman show I've ever seen, to be fair.
What, you don't like Gotham? I guess it's not really Batman.
It's a Batman show. I mean,
yeah, it's true.
That's why I despise it. The whole premise is Bruce Wayne is some 8-year-old, but all the supervillains exist anyway. I mean,
Because the thing is, I love Gotham for what it is when they're not trying to shoehorn the villains and stuff in. Because the thing is, they could take Bruce Wayne, the little kid version of Bruce Wayne out of the picture completely, and I'd probably feel better about the show.
Yeah.
Because-
Let me ask you a question, or finish your thought. Then I got a question for you.
Well, yeah, because my whole thing is that like I love the way they handle Gordon and his partner. Was it Harvey? Right? No, not Harvey. What's the name of it?
It's Harvey.
It is Harvey, right?
Yeah.
Harvey Bullock.
Yeah. The guy from Grounded for Life. Because when I saw him, I was like, oh shit, it's the guy from Grounded for Life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That actor, man, he's had tough times. I'm glad he's in a show that's actually gonna be sticking around for a while.
Definitely. But
So
definitely, like that dynamic was just so perfect between them. Like I just love watching that. You know?
So my question for you guys would be then, does this suffer from that age-old thing where they probably had a detective show going, they didn't think it would sell, they slapped Batman on it, and now you got Gotham?
Yeah,
well-
I could have seen that being the case.
Well, I mean, there was a series called Gotham Central that was really, really good, a comic book series, and they took some of the the arcs and stuff from there. But yeah, if you really loved how they shoehorned in villains, you're gonna love that they're doing it again in season 2. So
The thing is, with Gotham Central, Batman existed in that.
yeah, and I mean, I don't mind the Batman thing. I like that they finally brought in the cave and stuff like that into it. I think the major points is that the introductions to some of the villains like Scarecrow are pretty weak. The guy that plays Harvey Dent is not charismatic at all. I don't.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a regular in this next season.
Yeah, I don't like Barbara.
Nobody likes Barbara.
Yeah, I don't know how. God, the first several. I had mentioned this before, but in first several episodes, she never left the damn apartment. Every scene with her was in the apartment, and then
It was a nice apartment.
well, it was a nice apartment, but she didn't go. I didn't see what the point was, and then
Yeah, I kind of had a few issues with that because it's kind of like, she did a few dumb things. Like you just want to scream at the screen, going, "Why did you do that?"
but it's not even like you're sympathetic for her.
No,
there's nothing redeeming about her character. You can't connect with her on any level. But that's why I like the medical examiner. One from Firefly. Leslie Tompkins, yeah. Because I remember her from the Batman animated series too. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. So,
It's pretty much confirmed that Constantine's DOA, right?
it is. Yeah.
Oh,
there's.
that's such a shame.
Someone might pick it up. I hope to God someone picks it up because Constantine was good.
Yeah,
I
it
love
was.
There
I love
is-
those kind of shows. Anything having to do with demons and
Well-
anything with that kind of thing. Like I love Supernatural too. It's like that kind of realm just feels so awesome to mess around with.
And they just did such a fantastic job of conveying the new 52 Constantine, the one that's not such, stick up his butt like the Keanu Reeves. This one was actually funny, but he knew he was an asshole.
Yeah, it's like that self-awareness where it's just like that's what makes it funny.
Yeah, there was the possibility they mentioned Sci-Fi might pick it up. Preacher comes out soon too, so there's going to be another
really?
movie. Yeah. So and it's also was it NBC as well? I don't remember, but I think it was. It's going to be NBC, so I'm like, I don't know. They would have a good coupling of kind of supernatural shows there. They have Grimm. I would hope they would give it another chance, but it's NBC.
Who has Sleepy Hollow?
Fox.
Fox. Yeah, that's coming back season 3.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it looks like John Noble's on board, so I don't know. John Noble will be back in some form. I don't know in what form.
Oh yeah, I'm so far behind on that show.
Okay. Well, I won't
I'm
tell
telling
you.
man, moving fucks up your TV so much.
It does. Well, that's all right. I completely forgot Orphan Black is back on, so I missed the first 6 episodes.
Yeah, I've got them all in DVR.
Oh, it's really good.
I've been meaning to. There's a lot of shows I've been meaning to look into, but it's like you only have so much time in a day.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, throw in a family and a full-time job, and you're like,
And these damn
where'd the
people
time
who
go?
watch YouTube all the time. God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually where most of my time. I should be watching TV. I say I should. That's really sad. I should be watching TV. I'm obligated to watch these shows. But yeah, I end up watching just shit on YouTube now.
See, my thing is I can never have the time to sit down and watch the hour-long TV shows, you know? Like, I really want to watch them, but I just can't get into it. You know what I mean? Because I always have something else I got to pull away and do something or pause it and come back, and I hate doing that, you know?
Well, if you want to talk about something funny, I know they've been putting out reports that say you guys spoke of Walking Dead a little while ago. They're talking about now, as long as the show's been running in canon, the zombies would all be starting to deteriorate and fall apart at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, it really depends.
Supposedly they are reflecting that in the show as well. Like if you look at the zombie models from the first and second season compared to now, they're much more decrepit.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. In a way, they kind of go through that in just that they're going to be a little more fragile and easier. Because the thing is, even from the, like, what is it? Probably within season 2 or 3, the zombies were put more and more and more in the background, where it's like they're not the focus of the danger. They're more of an annoyance. Like, they've done a few episodes here and there where it showed that they're still a valid thing to be worried about, but overall, it's still more of a the enemy is other humans. That's all it always comes down to.
Well, exactly. Well, and not only they're more decrepit and broken down, but they're even more dangerous because now they all have gone to their own like giant swarms.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not just running across one or two much anymore. You can run in at least a dozen at a time.
Yeah.
So even if they're slower, there's just more of them. They're more dense because they've kind of collected together.
And honestly, that's always my fascination with just the slow zombie as a whole. It's just that it's about the numbers and how it's inevitable that they're always going to come down to get you. I can never really get into the fast zombies. You know what I mean?
It does seem kind of like cheating. Like it's bad. It's bad enough if they bite you, you're dead. It's like no, they got to run after you. It kind of loses that cool zombie atmosphere that Romero had set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a new comic book series, Empire of the Living Dead. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. I think that's the one. I haven't looked into it too much. I'm actually more focusing on there's supposed to be another movie that's supposed to be made by his son. His son's supposed to be doing one.
Did you guys watch the Dead Rising movie?
Yes, I did. Watchtower, right?
Was it any good?
Define good.
Well, what concerns me is I don't know how you'd really transfer Dead Rising into a movie. I mean, the whole nostalgia is you run around, you do stupid shit, you build weapons, you fight zombies. I mean, I don't see it.
Is it as crazy and over the top as the game? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's good in that sense. Is the story a background to the action? Yes. But in terms of what you're doing, like just the way they're killing zombies and the fun that they're having in it, it's like, that's great. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, the best bits were actually when they went back to Frank West in between the newsreels things. They had the news anchor and the girl, and Frank West is talking back and forth, and it was hilarious listening to them talk. So honestly, if that part in the movie alone and multiple parts is worth it alone to see that movie if you haven't.
So you'd say it's a watch?
Yes, it's a watch. Like if I had to rate it on a a buy, rent, or ignore, I'd put it under rent because it's like you should watch it. You probably don't need to own it.
It's good to stream it and then
yeah.
You don't need a copy of it for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of streaming, I guess Netflix. I was reading an article. Netflix accounts for 37% of our North American internet bandwidth during prime time. Jesus. So almost 40% of bandwidth used during prime time is all for Netflix. Thanks, Daredevil. And House of Cards and all that good stuff. I'm actually looking forward to Falling. I don't know. Is the last season of Falling Skies? This is the season 5. I don't remember if it's the last season though.
Was that? Wait, but I thought Falling Skies was finished already. That's still going?
Yeah, they've got season 5. I think this might be I think it's the final battle. I think this is the last season. I'm sorry, I looked at season 5. What are you talking about? Just seems like yesterday it started. But yeah, you got Falling Skies ending, and then X-Files and is coming back, and then Twin Peaks. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know what's with the revival kind of thing that's going on with those kind of shows. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm curious, but I'm still like, do you really want to touch the old stuff like that?
Does Twin Peaks have anything to tie to the original? Is it the same writer or anything like that?
No, I think David Lynch isn't even involved anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I think
he
was,
dropped
but then
off.
He pulled out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be a disaster.
But Chris Carter is involved with X-Files. So
Yes.
it's only 6 episodes, and David Duchovny confirmed it's not like the last of the series. Like, it's not just another 6 to end it off. So I think they're trying to get interest in it to possibly have another season after that.
Okay.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Someone's got one of those whippy windy things in the background.
Yeah, that's me.
Is that you? Is that Remo?
That would be Remo.
Whipping that thing around. Good thing he doesn't have a sibling.
No, it's like one of those straws. Like, you get like the cups at the amusement park with the hard plastic straws in them.
Yeah.
It's one of those straws.
Wow,
Yeah. He's just blowing in the damn straw and it's making that stupid.
I think it's funny. You spend all this money on kids' toys, and really they want to play in the box, and they want they want the trash. They don't care about the actual toy.
They're like
Yeah,
cats.
absolutely.
They don't give a damn what you spend $200 on. They want the trash you're going to throw out.
Yep.
It's all about like toilet paper rolls and stuff like that. That's what kids want.
Used tissues. Ugh, gross. What else? So we talked a little about movies, a little TV, little video games. Anyone have any topics they want to talk about?
We have Arkham Knight coming out next month.
Mm-hmm.
And they just actually put out like a 7 or 8 minute gameplay chunk today involving Poison Ivy that looks just stunning.
Oh, okay, cool. I haven't watched that yet. I actually should check it out when I get the chance.
My only concern with this game is this, and Rob remembers my problem with Arkham City was this. Arkham Asylum was, I remember what Rob told me. Arkham Asylum was amazing because it was like a 13-hour version of the cartoon. It was streamlined, which helped it feel like it was progressing. Yeah. Arkham City, the way Rob put it, was there was too much shit to do, and it pulled down the momentum. It made it where it didn't feel like it was streaming at a good pace because it was so vast and there was so much shit to do.
Yeah.
Arkham Knight is going to be so massive, but the thing is this. They never have made a major arc in the comics or shows where it was all about fighting with the Batmobile. And I feel like the idea of the nostalgia, if they focus too much on that, it's going to bog down the game. If you have to grind or just spend huge sections going through the city fighting in the Batmobile, I think it's going to sincerely hamper the story.
Yeah, that pretty much comes back to the whole sandbox thing, where it's like that game didn't need to go sandbox. It was pretty good the way it was before, in the first game,
Well, think about it. Like, if you equate the Batmobile to like the ships in Assassin's Creed, like 3, like in 3, where they just threw it in there. You either have to make it a major part of the game or don't. Don't have it in there.
It took them until Rogue to perfect the sailing, and that was because in Rogue, they did 2 things. They added a gun where you can basically kill anything first off, and then they added fast travel, which they absolutely did not have in 4 until you got to a place. So you'd spend hours sailing through the game in real time to get to one place.
Yeah, but I love that. I love that it was so... It was so focused on the sea.
Didn't like that one aspect of the game. It just utterly killed it.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a pirate game. Mm-hmm. But people were kind of... I think it was a good change of pace because people were kind of tired of the Assassin's Creed. Like the same thing over and over. You go to a tower and you search, you look out, and then you unlock all the different things in the area, and you go run around and, It's the adding that whole sea element, and then making it a major part of the game, added a new dimension to it. So
but honestly, that might have been the reason why Unity didn't do so hot. It's like they opened it up and then they just brought it back to that limitation of what the first few games were.
Honestly, I think the reason Unity didn't do well was it was a buggy disaster.
Well, that didn't help either.
Yeah, and the co-op,
the horrific videos, and I mean the fact that it was so glitchy, they had to put out 5 patches and basically give people the option to get a free copy of Far Cry a month after it came out to apologize for it.
Yeah, well, not only that, but like the co-op was touted so highly, and really it wasn't very good. Like,
wasn't it like you could only do it for certain missions?
only certain missions, and they had this cool, they promoted it as like, oh, your friend can go up over the roof and you can go through the window and you can all go different. You all had to go the same path. There was no, like you were basically bumping shoulders the entire time. And that's no fun, like if they give you a linear way to go and instead of opening it up.
What would have made more sense is, like, I don't know how many of you guys played Dishonored, but like Dishonored's way of like you could choose how you wanted to complete your missions.
Yeah,
like,
that was
everybody
great.
should have that kind of option. So if somebody wants to go mingle in the party, they should be able to do that while somebody's coming through the bedroom window.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, a lot of games like to take ideas and concepts from other games, and I'm surprised Dishonored isn't one of those yet. Like, I haven't seen a lot of people capitalize on that concept.
What I can say is my one big hope for Syndicate is that it takes place near Jack the Ripper's time, and for years I've been saying how easy it would be to either make Jack the Ripper an assassin or a Templar. I mean, the assassins do have history working with hookers, so the idea that Jack the Ripper was going around killing their, contacts and shit, it would be so easy to do.
Yeah, that'd be crazy if they actually made a connection like that.
Well, that'd be fucked up for a whole other reason because of the fucking brutality of what he did to the prostitutes.
Yeah, true.
Like, why the hell would you do that to your enemies?
Well,
Like
maybe
the
they'd
message?
find a way to explain it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's that. Like that last
And-
woman. All right, so here's the thing: is I'm a huge I guess Victorian England nut, like Sherlock Holmes and Jack. So I've fucking read tons of stuff. Man, the last person he killed, like he was in her, I guess, room, her apartment. Fucking completely flayed her, had all her organs all over the fucking room.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not sending a message. That's just a fucked up dude.
Well,
You're just
it
mental.
wouldn't be the most crazy thing they've done. I mean, Rogue, spoiler warning, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They explained one of the biggest earthquakes in history being tied to the assassins fucking with pieces of Eden, which was probably the most fun level I've ever played in an Assassin's Creed game.
Mm-hmm.
As you run through, I think it wasn't Havana, I think it was like Costa Rica or something, as the city is falling to shit. And you have to run through the landscape as it's falling apart. It wouldn't be the most, that was pretty damn exciting that they tied that into the Assassin's Creed lore.
Yeah, I'm.
I honestly think that's what makes that's when Assassin's Creed is at its best,
Yeah.
When it's tying real life events to what's going on in the background.
But Jack Ripper is one of those things I think you have to be so... It's one thing when you're doing the French Revolution, it's just so big and there's so much you can do with it. When you have when you kind of focus on a single person and they're people know the certain acts that they did, people even know some of the women's names and everything that he killed, people know their history when it comes to that. And if you start messing around with that and you don't do it right, it's going to backfire. But I'm hoping that's not a major focus anyways. I just like the idea of Victorian London in general.
Well, at this point, I don't think they're going to let themselves slip because Unity was such a disaster, and unfortunately, Rogue did not get the credit it deserves. So Assassin's Creed could go the way of Guitar Hero or Tony Hawk if it doesn't have a good game come out next.
Guitar Hero's coming back though.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, it got overexposed and it blew up in a big way.
Yeah, well,
so it would be easy to revive it given some time. But the point is, if they don't come back now, they're going to fuck up their franchise major.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the same with all major publishers. They are gambling with these big budget games, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And last year was a rough one for Ubisoft between Assassin's Creed and Far Cry 4.
Mm-hmm.
These
Far Cry
franchise.
4 did pretty good. I think a lot of people considered it the one good game they put out.
Yeah, but they had a lot of performance issues with that as well when it came out. It didn't. Yeah,
Not as bad as Assassin's
you can't
Creed.
even play it on You can't play it on the PC unless you have a quad core. It does not work on dual core unless you mod it. So yeah, that's kind of a big boner oversight. When you port a game, you need to make sure those people can play that game, and there's still a lot of people out there without quad core processors. So, yeah. Cool. So we got some gaming. Anyone else have any topics they want to talk about? Does anyone? I've been actually reading the Convergence DC storyline. Stupid Free Comic Book Day got me back into comic books. So It's interesting because I think both this year just this year, both DC and Marvel are. It looks like they're just destroying their worlds.
Yeah,
and starting anew, right? Because it's Secret Wars. Is that the
Secret Wars?
Yep, Secret Wars, which is
So-
like the third time they've used that name.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
but
Well, they had Secret Wars 2, then they had Secret War, not plural.
It's bad as the
Thank you,
Fast and
Rob.
the Furious. The Fast and Furious, sirs. They just change one little letter and then. Yeah, so I think it's you might as well call Convergence Infinite Crisis, though. I mean, that's basically
Yeah.
what it is. It's a combination of all the different worlds, and it's a cool concept.
What I'm curious is that, like I keep on hearing, what do you call it, that Marvel doesn't plan to end its universe with it, though. Even though technically it's already destroyed, it's like they're going to keep that imprint going. They make it sound like they're going to keep it going, but it's like, but you destroyed the world.
Well, I saw an interview with I don't know, the publisher or CEO or whatever of Marvel.
Kevin
He was
Feige.
saying, who? What?
Kevin Feige or
I don't recall who it was.
Brian. Oh shit, what's his name?
But no,
yeah, go
it's
ahead.
not Brian Michael Bendis.
No.
No.
Um,
Oh shoot. Go ahead.
Anyway,
I'll
but he was saying that the Secret Wars is gonna open up story, potential for decades. Like,
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen. Like Onslaught, right? That lasted for not very long.
Honestly, I think the best,
Joe Quesada.
I think
Maybe?
Age of
No, it was not
Apocalypse was
Quesada,
probably the
actually.
best spanning thing they ever did, because Age of Apocalypse went on for like half a year, didn't it? They just
I don't know. I
completely
actually
redid.
wasn't reading at the time. I had.
Yeah, Age of Apocalypse, they pretty much canceled every X-Men comic they had and redubbed it, and it went on for about 4 to 6 issues each line,
Well, the Heroes Reborn went on for quite a while too.
and that was a disaster.
Well, yeah.
Well, like New 52. I mean, it went on for like basically a year. So
But that was just fucked from the beginning because like some titles were completely rebooted and then like Green Lantern, like you couldn't tell anything had happened, but they tried to fit that in with all the shit where like it was
Sinestro.
brand. It
and-
was and then the Batman continuity was just completely fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Have they retconned that yet, or is it still going?
There's no way you could fix that. There's absolutely no way that you could fix the Batman New 52 continuity. It just
So you'd say it's worse than Spider-Man: A New Day?
I liked New Day.
See, I thought you hated it.
No, I mean
That tells me how much I listen.
I didn't really wasn't like the biggest fan of the whole making a deal with the devil. That was kind of stupid. Like they were just trying to figure out a way to get themselves out of this corner they painted themselves into. But everything that happened after that was like fantastic. Like everything Dan Slott has done is just great.
Well, I think
Yeah,
they
well,
really
that's-
just wanted to get him unmarried to Mary Jane.
Well, that's why I'm mad because I had just picked up the last issue of Silver Surfer. Dan Slott writes for it, and I had put it on my subscription list at the comic book store. And she's like, just to give you a warning, I don't know when the next one's gonna be out. So basically, Secret Wars is messing up my Silver Surfer because they don't know what's gonna happen with the end of the universe or with I guess it's just the world, or is it the universe?
Literally, the Earths are colliding into each other.
Yeah.
It's like
The Ultimate World and the Earth 616 is completely colliding and it gets destroyed. And
Okay.
and the pieces of both of those worlds are getting combined together into the new battle world.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because I grabbed Death of Deadpool, so
Oh god, that
and
was
then
funny.
I had to read like it's like a happy ending and the whole world. Is just
Yeah, that's what I thought was funny because I'm sitting there like, oh, he's gonna have like the most awesome death, and it's like, oh wow, he actually beat everything, and it's like, oh no. Looks up and there it goes.
That reminds me, I saw something today. I think someone had tweeted it out, but it was just talking about it was a chart and like the different, like the people that have killed in Marvel, like the heroes that have killed, and their death counts, and it kind of starts out with like. Captain America, I think he had killed like 6 people, and they mark whether it was a bad guy, good guy, or neutral and everything. Then you have like Deadpool and Wolverine and Punisher at the bottom, And they had like 16, 18. I'm like, I know Deadpool's killed way more than 16 people.
Well, Captain America's killed way more than that because he was kind of, in World War II. So
Yeah, so I guess it's
That-
like actual
Maybe
superhero
maybe
villain
it's significant
status.
people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, people of certain
significant
status.
wow, that's cold. You saying just your random soldier's not significant? That's
Oh.
heartless.
Hey, not to me. I'm just saying. By Marvel standard, the guy who made this chart, he's talking probably more about other characters.
He had listed some. Yeah, actually, it had names, I guess, and like, 'cause who cares about someone who doesn't have a name? I mean,
Oh, okay, yeah, fuck him.
Then you end up with Austin Powers 3. You don't even have a badge. You might as well just lay down on the ground.
Like red shirts.
oh, speaking of Star Trek, do you guys want some fake fan email?
Okay, go for it.
I got a whole song and everything here. Hold on. Once it opens
That's
up.
right.
And,
I was going to say, that sounded like some young fan mail.
come on, you can do it.
It's not real fan mail, it's fake fan email.
Yep, and our fake fan email comes from Patrick Stewart. Who tweeted this out. Obviously, it was to us. I mean, he didn't use our Twitter tag or anything, but I know it was towards us. But
He was
had,
probably that's why I forgot.
He did, yeah. I mean, it's he he likes the green. And this picture might actually be evidence of that because man, the guy can eat a lot of pizza. But it's he actually tweeted a picture of just a whole bunch of pizza crusts and said, "Have you actually eaten pizza if you don't eat the crust?" Discuss. What do you?
Yeah,
what do you
that
think,
dude.
Rob?
That dude was so high when he came up with that.
Well, I think he's in Rome right now. It looks like, or he's in Italy right now. So he was eating pizza, but it just, I guess, he doesn't eat the crust. There must have been a discussion about whether or not you actually eat pizza if you don't eat the crust. And being from New York City, Jesse, you get to go first because you is the home of some of the best pizza in the world.
Of course, and the key thing about it is when you're eating pizza, like the crust has to be good. It's not like it's just a rolled up piece of dough. Like they put cheese and seasoning and all that other stuff in it. It's like that's part of the pizza. That is part of the pizza. So if you're not finishing it, you're just have a half finished pizza. It's not even eating pizza. You're actually not
You haven't
finishing
eaten the pizza. Okay, so that's a
Yeah.
no. You haven't eaten pizza. Kyle,
Well,
How
not-
long?
Okay, saying that you have not eaten pizza because you have not eaten the crust is like saying that because you didn't read the acknowledgement in the front of a book that you didn't read it. So yes, it's still eating it.
no, because eating the crust is just as good as eating the actual pizza.
Just as
Acknowledgements are boring and they suck and it doesn't matter.
Yes. All right. I hate you for making me do this, but I have to agree with Kyle because the fact is, all right, you're eating the pizza. You're not eating the whole pizza. Like, all right, like at work they have fucking birthday cake. I hate the fucking icing on there because it's always like an inch goddamn thick and it's just disgusting. So I don't eat the icing, but I eat the cake. And you can't say, well, you didn't eat the cake.
icing. Do you eat some of the icing though?
Whatever is left on the fork after I scrape the rest of it off. There's a huge mountain of icing left on my plate. So yes, I just because you're not eating the whole thing doesn't mean you are not eating the thing. And you are eating some of the crust when you are eating the pizza, even if you don't eat the crust on the end, because there's still the crust underneath.
Yeah, see,
You're just not eating all of the crust. So
I think the crust on the end is different than like the dough underneath. I consider it
Well,
the
no, I
dough part.
actually
See-
in college I worked at Little Caesars. It's all the same dough.
I know.
The better
We don't
question.
put better dough around the edges. No, it's
The better
same.
question is, are the items that you're eating, if the crust doesn't taste good, or you just don't want the crust, if it doesn't make you want to eat the crust, is that truly pizza?
Yeah, because
I mean, it depends on why you're not eating the crust. If you don't like the crust, or if you're like some kind of, I gotta watch my carbs, even though I ate the rest of the goddamn crust. Whatever.
okay, but
You're
I've
such-
seen.
you're a little
let's see,
girl.
there's 7 crusts on Patrick Stewart's plate. He was really hot, so he had a lot of pizza. So don't give me the carb nonsense with that. But as long as you eat
that's the same
some of the
people that
crust.
go to like McDonald's, get the supersized Big Mac with the Diet Coke. You'll eat 7 pieces of pizza. Oh, but I'm watching carbs, so I won't eat the crust.
Well, Patrick Stewart's still in great shape. I'll give him that, but he probably ran that off. But still, I think if you eat, I'll give it to you if you can eat at least like a piece of the crust. Like there's some people that just don't eat any of the crust. Like,
I mean, you
well,
have
at least
to
try
taste
some of the crust
and see if it's something you want to eat the rest of.
Otherwise, you're not getting the full pizza experience.
Well, I do agree with the concept that if it's shitty crust, I mean, if it was Domino's old crust where it tastes like cardboard, why are you going to eat it because it tastes like shit?
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Now, being from New York City, Jesse, do you and this seems to be a thing. Like I listen to Howard Stern and stuff like that, and they kind of have conversation about this from time to time. They make fun of one of the guys because he eats like Papa John's and stuff, and they're like, "You live in a city where the best pizza in the world is made, and you're ordering Papa John's and Little Caesars and stuff." Do you look down on the chains a lot, or are you like whatever floats your boat?
Most of the time it is whatever I floats my boat, but the thing is, if you have to think of it in this terms, it's what's in front of me. If you put a Domino's pizza and then you put a regular corner, mom and pop pizzeria, I'm going to go to the mom and pop pizzeria. I'm not going to go to the Domino's to get the pizza. Right. But if I had no choice and in terms of convenience, for example, the best pizza spot near where I live right now doesn't deliver, and it pisses me off to all hell. But because of that, if I want to order and get pizza delivered, the best option is Domino's. Because there's nothing really good. Because the other pizzas that are around here that deliver are crappy. Compared to Domino's. They're worse than Domino's.
Yeah. Well, Domino's new pizzas are actually, the new seasoning's pretty decent. Like they've worked hard to make it so it doesn't taste like cardboard anymore.
Yeah. And I can actually attest to that. But the thing is, I would still rather go to the place that's 20 minutes away walking distance from my house to get the good pizza than it is to get Domino's. But if I'm just too lazy to leave my house, then I'll order Domino's.
I just in my mind I have the sense like New Yorkers are just like, what's this crap you put in front of me? That's an insult to me. You don't put this pizza in my face. This isn't pizza. Like, how dare you?
Or I actually had that conversation once because I have family in Pennsylvania, and they were like, "Oh, you should check out this pizza place in Pennsylvania." And I'm like, "Okay, let's go." And we go there, and it's this crappy, doughy, no food.
What was it called? I have family in Pittsburgh. I probably know it.
I don't remember because this was actually a while ago, and I don't eat pizza from PA anymore because of it.
Yeah, I got it.
The whole state has been sworn off.
Sad thing is, I've actually got to agree with him. I had some strangers on the street who were telling me, "What the hell's wrong with you? You don't like this place?" I'm like, "This isn't great pizza. I'm sorry."
Come with me to New York. We'll go to. There's a really awesome pizza place across from Madison Square Garden called Pizza Suprema. That is the best pizza I've ever had. Nothing beats that pizza.
I'm just glad, Raleigh is recently, we've got, where I live, it's a bunch of chains of everything. I don't have an actual mom and pop restaurant anywhere near me, unfortunately. But we're slowly but surely getting some places like that in, and there's one chain that's actually pretty good right now. It's a smaller one, Marco's Pizza. And man, that's really good. And but we're getting a mod pizza and stuff, man. I'm looking for. I was like, there's the occasion we got a couple New York places. They always say they're New York style pizza. Yeah, there is one that is actually near me that is authentic New York, Roma's Bakery kind of thing going on. So, but they're really good. $10 large cheese pizza on Mondays. But yeah, I'm man. It's a good time to be alive, man. I'll tell you what. Awesome. Well, are we all done, fellas?
Yeah, sure.
We'll wrap it up. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, Jesse. Appreciate it. Yeah, I thought it was a good time. Once again, you are UndeadDomain on YouTube. And then, is that your Twitter? Is at UndeadDomain as well?
At UndeadDomain. Honestly, you can go to Facebook, Twitter, Twitch TV. It's all UndeadDomain, one word. Easy to just put in the slash and UndeadDomain and you'll find me.
Yep. So if you like a lot of cool open world kind of modded Minecraft journey stuff, or just kind of open world sandbox kind of games, Jesse's the guy to watch. So he's got some really good content out there. And if you want to drop an email off to us, it's podcast@dorkgasm.net. You can view our YouTube channel at Dorkgasm Productions, or you can catch us on Twitter at Dorkgasm Podcast. I can't believe I remembered all that. And anything else? Any dorkgasms you want to share before we head out?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'll think of it actually in 15 minutes, but
after we've already ended.
So yeah.
Pretty much.
I was trying to think of some cool stuff that had happened. I know I kind of ragged on Disney Infinity 3 before because it seems like they come out with a new version every year. Well, they do come out with a new version every year, and the old characters you get don't work with the new adventures. But they're having a Star Wars Rebels starter pack with the Disney Infinity 3. I'm like, damn you, sons of bitches! You had to come out with something that I would really want. So I may still go for the Lego Universe one. That one looks pretty cool. And the fact they're not going to make you update every year, the characters are going to work throughout the entirety of the game, which is nice. So very cool. So I'll go with that as my Dorkgasm. Kyle, anything cool that you're super excited about?
I can't think of much.
Nothing exciting's happened to you?
I know there's that new DC show they were advertising that's going to be like Firestorm, Captain Cold, Heatwave. And Heroes of DC or
Legends of DC. Legends of DC.
Tomorrow?
That looks pretty interesting.
DC Legends of Tomorrow, right? Is that right?
Yep.
I don't know if DC's in it, but yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's.
I'll throw something in.
Sure.
There's this actual cool game on over on Steam called Darkest Dungeon.
Oh yeah.
That just went on sale, and if you like fantasy games, but they throw in that sanity twisting concept into it, like of how diving into dungeons actually affects you, mentally. That's definitely something you should try to pick up.
Darkest Dungeon. That's on Steam currently.
Dungeon, yes.
Is it early access right now? Or is it out?
I think it's out. Yeah. Let me double check. It is actually on sale, and I definitely need to get my own copy right now. Yeah, it is early access, so yeah.
Oh, I know Darkest Dungeon. I've talked about that on the podcast before. Yeah. That's the awesome one where your heroes actually are affected by the adventures that you go on.
Yeah, and it looks amazing, and I'm gonna probably install this right after this and start diving into it.
Yeah, it's definitely that's out right now. I think they are working on some DLC, and they're continually expanding it, which is pretty darn awesome. So I think it comes out on PS4 later this year too. They're working on a version for the PS4. So cool. All right, who wants?
I'm excited about.
Kyle or Rob? Which one he wants to kick us out?
You one. Oh, want to kick us off? Well, if it's not going to be a snap, and we're not having a chat,
It's a trap!
Oh, I was a little
Chat
early.
doesn't even rhyme with snap. Or trap.
I told you.
Dang it.
I told you I was tired. I plead the fifth.
All right,
Terrible. You are the worst.
do you want to do it, Rob? We'll do a redo.
I've got nothing, but actually my nothing's better than what Kyle.
Okay.